Hi, hello, this is JulesTheHuman here, and welcome to the JulesTheHuman Anime Hour. I'm one of your hosts, JulesTheHuman, and every week we go out into the world and watch a little bit of anime, and then we come back here and talk about it. And today is the final time we're going to be talking about Chrono Crusade, an anime that I got to pick, and we are going to talk about the final, well, not the final 4 episodes of the show, but 9 through 12, the final ones that we're going to talk about, because again, this show is about tasting a little bit of anime and then moving on to the next one. Here are the next anime that can be pulled out of the anime chest. A lot of these are suggested by you, the viewers. Some of them are mine and Matt's. But to get an anime put into the chest is you would have to donate a $5 super chat on YouTube or 500 bits on Twitch. So you could still do that. You can do that live. You can do that later on. I see the super chats popping up if you post them after the show is already published, and if it's a good anime or if it's one that's not sufficient for work, we'll add it in there. But I do not go on these anime journeys alone. I go with my co-host Matt Galley. Matt, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm so excited to see what your final thoughts are on this show, because I'm feeling divisive, and I'm feeling like I got some opinions, and I don't know if we're gonna stand on the same ground. So I'm very intrigued to see what you're gonna be thinking about this one. But I will say it's been this is one that I can appreciate the journey that we get to talk about our likes and dislikes on something that like is it's very different than something that we've kind of talked about here before, because I don't think we've ever watched a show in 420p before on here. So yeah, I got a lot of thoughts.
I am interested as well in your thoughts, but I guess to talk broadly about Chrono Crusade, I'm glad that I watched it, because one, if it wasn't for the show, I would have shut it off after watching an episode because of the bad quality of it being done so long ago and Crunchyroll not having or upscaling at all. And I do think the animation kind of it doesn't do it. I don't know, having it that low quality doesn't do it justice. And like anything that I would have liked, I was like, man, this would have been cool if it was a little bit better looking. So definitely going to hinder on that score for me as well towards the end. But we got a lot to talk about, got a lot to go through. So let's get into it. Chrono Crusade, episode 9, Joshua. What happens in episode 9?
Rosette and Chrono take Asmaria to the place where everything started, the orphanage where Rosette and Joshua used to attend. We see a bunch of frozen statues, and then jumping into a flashback where the siblings used to share their life with others at the orphanage, and we see Joshua use his powers to heal Rosette, yet he remains powerless to heal himself from his condition, Rosette insisting that she will be there to help Joshua no matter what. We discover Chrono as seen previously, and Asmaria questions why Chrono would be there as the flashback continues to show the development of Joshua, Rosette, and Chrono's relationship, Chrono beginning to feel emotions never felt previously. Rosette runs to Chrono as Joshua accepts to go with the minister, and Ion appears to confront Chrono.
Ion has come. Oh my goodness. I like this episode.
I like this episode too.
Yeah. This episode was really cool that we get the whole flashback, and we'll get deeper into it. But I started thinking during this whole thing, because we get a lot of Rosette. We get this whole Seventh Bell orphanage. Rosette is there way back when, 4 years ago. The place is frozen. We get a flashback, and Rosette is who we get introduced as a younger her. And I gotta say, for a show named Chrono Crusade, I'm loving Rosette the most. It could be hit or miss for people. I don't think I would have liked this character at the start. I don't think I did really, but seeing her and how far she's come really in these 4 episodes, I'm like, okay, I think out of all of them, I think Rosette is my favorite, and she's the crux.
Rosette is my favorite, even if she is not the most nuanced character.
No.
Which she doesn't feel like she's the most nuanced. It feels like Chrono definitely kind of has some more nuance with the fact that like he's, a demon that's now with the humans and like all that type of stuff that's going on with him. But Rosette, she's very endearing, and it's just you immediately, I feel like, just can she's an immediately likable character, even if
Yeah.
loud, she's a bit brash, but
Hmm.
she is entirely optimistic and very, very supportive of the people that she cares about.
And we talk about main characters a lot. We deal with a lot of main characters on the show, and that's kind of what we need in a main character to get on their side, is to have this one resolve to push further, to push your body, push yourself, or push the narrative and fight the bad guy. But also that optimism is also really welcome. I really like that um endearing optimism she has, even like in a later episode. I think it was episode 11, where she's just like, I'm just doing it, we're gonna do it, I don't care, whatever,
Yeah,
we're gonna do this. So
yeah.
I really like her. It's just funny, they probably could have named it Rosette's Crusade instead of Chrono Crusade, or gotten her somehow to be named Chrono. But we get this funny opening to Rosette being overbearing, as she usually is, but even as a kid. She likes exploring. We see Joshua as a kid. Joshua's sick, and Remington wanted to take Joshua away for his special ability. So even then, we know that they were aware that he had some sort of special abilities. Sorry, I'm dying.
No, you're fine.
Um,
It reminds me of something like Harry Potter, with how Tom Riddle kind of like had his whole thing where he's at an orphanage, and it's like very clearly like he has some sort of powers that's going on that sets him apart from everybody else. So he becomes kind of like a semi outcast, even though we see him able to able to still kind of like have fun when he's not having a fit, as they say, they refer to him
yeah.
in the show. But we it's later revealed that he has this deep sense that like he is just bringing down everybody around him for the sake of that, like they almost feel forced to be nice to him because of his condition, because of his
Uh,
helplessness.
yeah, because he even has like this heartbreaking moment where heals Rosette's scraped knee, and I was like, yo, he's healing her, because
Yeah,
this is our first time that we see him, I guess,
there's
pre
like a few
haunted.
flashbacks and stuff like that, but
Yeah,
this is the first time we're like getting it completely fleshed out with context.
because every time that we see him mainly is under Aeon's fist, or we don't know what Aeon's done. But he heals Rosette's scraped knee, and he says that he can heal everybody else's injuries, but why can't he heal his own? And it's like really sad.
Mhm.
Something that I do forget about while they're doing all this stuff is that like the Sister Magdalene Order is just kids, young adults. And they're fighting this war against demons, and it's like, yo, this is kind of crazy, like, to think about it. Where maybe
That's why I
some
think they're constantly referring to the militia and like offsite people, and that gives me this concept that like those are like the adults. Those are like
yeah.
people that are like very have been in the order for a very long time. They're able to like operate remotely on their own, et cetera, et cetera. And then the show just kind of like off screens them
But
back to back to back.
yeah.
It's just, and it doesn't feel like there's a lot of weight to like all these off screened militia members that are just getting, you know,
Owned.
but I guess let's send our still teenage militia.
Yeah. Well, because even in like in one of the earlier episodes, whenever one of the demons came to the Saint Magdalene's, they all just took up arms and were like, brah, 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 brah. And it's like, yo, they still got to know how to use the guns. So like
Guns
they're
with
still teaching.
guns.
Nuns with guns. I love it. They discovered an underground tomb and awakened Chrono, the tomb of Magdalene. And he's talking about some stuff about astral lines, how their souls flow back into the astral lines when they die. And he has all this information. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's where he knows about these astral lines where
Yeah, I buy
um
it.
yeah, I'm cool with it. Um there was some fun stuff. They did some fun stuff together trying to show some passing of time, but also the connection that they're feeling together with all three of them being Joshua, Rosette, and Chrono. As before, in the future, we see Rosette, Chrono, and Asmaria. So the first sort of kindred spirit, third spirit there was Joshua.
Which,
Joshua's
like,
body.
I
Mhm.
just I do really like that they give it to us. I just kind of like I think my biggest problem, this is my biggest gripe with the show, is that it keeps wanting to like kind of teeter-totter back and forth between like giving us this and giving us just like monster of the week stuff. And I
Yes,
think that's my
because
biggest pin up with this show. Like it can be so much more if it really leaned into what it's doing here with them. All the like we've built this world, we have a protagonist that like we care about, we like and we enjoy, and we want to see things work out well for them. So I want to always be working towards getting Josh back because that's what our protagonist wants and that's what their goal is, and I want to see them be able to accomplish their goal. And I feel like the show has a hard time maintaining that focus.
nah, bro, but this one demon dog is coming, dude. This one demon dog is here, bro. What are you
That felt
talking about?
like an episode of Goosebumps or something. I was like, what are we doing? Off the
No,
back of this emotional like roller coaster of episode 9 and 10, because 10 is pretty dang emotional. Like I was definitely, it made me feel like a little sad, a little upset at just the way
Mhm.
those events played out, how everything happened.
No, I totally agree. And I think they could do better with maybe mixing the two together, or maybe have they could have even had like a monster here in this episode, but tell the story in the flashbacks as they're fighting or something, and don't make the entire episode about the fight. But have that going on in the background if they still want to give it to us, but also give us a story. Because this is I agree. This is the story I want. This is the story I care about. We're talking about Joshua. We're getting a whole lot more in this episode about how they found each other, about the times they spent. But then we go back to something else in a different episode. And it's like, what are we doing? There
Whiplash.
is
Whiplash.
it's the disconnect.
What's going on?
It,
My attention's over here and you want me this way? Like, why? Why?
because then it makes it feel like filler, and
Exactly.
like it's not.
Even though
It's
there's hints of development and like,
yeah.
okay, these are themes that connect to the larger story, and I can see that, but it just doesn't feel as substantial.
No, it's good enough to not be filler, and it's not filler, but it's sort of treating it like it, where we're like, okay, let's put a hold on this whole story. We got this thing to fight, and it's like, well,
Exactly.
you could have mixed them up a little bit more. I don't know. But a lot of fun times with them through. Joshua's power is putting a strain on his body, and Ion comes to visit Chrono. And then we get into episode 10, Horn. What happens in episode 10?
Ion belittles and taunts Chrono and Rosette, knowing that he has already given demon horns taken from Chrono to Joshua, whose transformation has begun. Ion was able to use Joshua's insecurities in order to get him to accept the conditions, and Joshua begins going on a rampage, freezing the other orphans in time until Chrono escorts Rosette back to Joshua's side, which causes him to melt down after seeing his sister. Chrono makes his pact with Rosette before seeing in the modern day that Ion is making moves against another apostle, and Joshua still appears to be in a trance. Ion calls out to Mary Magdalene as he recites scripture on the shore.
He took his horns, bro.
Yoink.
The
I'll
horns
be
are
taking those.
the horns, we learn, are the source of the devil's power. So it gives us a thing that we can kind of tangibly see. Like once Chrono gets his horns back, oh shit, it's about to go down. Ion broke them off, and we get info. We still don't know the details of Chrono. So this being called Chrono Crusade, I feel like it's gonna be a big thing later on, probably towards the end. But Ion says Chrono killed over 100 million devils or demons or whatever.
Said our kind.
How does that, huh? What do you
I
mean?
thought he was about to say humans. I was like, "There's no way!" Like I was like,
Is
because
this
at least in the Japanese subtitled, it you've killed 100,000 or 100 million, and that was the end of the line. And I was like leaning forward to see what the next word was. It was like of our kind, and I was like,
oh,
"Oh, okay." I was about to say like, "Are we
jeez.
about to find out he's irredeemable or something?" Like that's
Yeah.
crazy. But I mean, if he's just killing demons, it makes sense because at least from what I remember, Ion's whole thing was that like he's trying to go kind of against the way of the underworld and cause his own uprising apocalypse type deal. So
Yeah. That's a lot.
that's a
Is he
lot of
Chainsaw
demons.
Man? Is he really Chainsaw Man? Spoilers. Ion gave Joshua Chrono's horns, and there's sort of like this little bit here of Joshua wanting power a little bit. He wants, like you were saying earlier in the
Yeah,
past
I
episode, he
think
wants people not to rely or not to have to rely on
it's
people.
the biggest for me. The like right when I was like, I feel like that was the moment was when he healed Rosette, and he was like, "Why can't I heal myself?" And she was like, "It's okay, you can heal others, and I'll protect you. Like that's my job. My job is to protect you. Your job is to protect everybody else." And there's
Mhm.
this like look that he gave with no response, and I was like, that was the moment where he now feels as though he's holding her back,
Yeah.
like he feels like a hindrance. And so now I can see where the motivation would be, that I'm willing to do anything so that way I can take care of myself, so that way my sister doesn't have to worry about me
But then
and
she ends up
dedicate her
doing it
life to me.
anyways because he leaves.
That's the irony of the situation.
She ends up spending the
Irony,
rest of
I
her
think.
life. I think it's irony that he was trying to prevent something from happening, takes
And
on the
then
power.
ultimately caused it to happen.
Yeah. So or what's that? Not no, I was thinking of something else. But he can hear thoughts? Question mark. Joshua freezes all the
Which is
people at
probably
the
why he, in the
orphanage.
modern day, he lives like on a shore by himself, because he needs to be isolated. And he even said, when the assistant asked, like, "Do you want to go to the city?" And he was like, "No, the city's too loud." And like, I was like, literally, the city is too
Mm,
loud. But now it's like, oh, the city's too loud.
people be thinking, bro. Stop thinking.
Like, I do like reveals in this show, and I do enjoy when it's giving us the A plot. Again, I really do. It's just it doesn't only give us the A plot. It strictly leans into A or B.
Yeah. Um, Joshua creates a barrier frozen in time. And Chrono says, without a horn or contractor, Chrono's power is gone. So just instantly there, that's when the pact was made. Rosette was like, are you going to help me get Joshua back? Are you going to help? Okay, here, here's my soul. So Rosette becomes Chrono's contractor for him to help Joshua. Ion shows up to Joshua's place later, and he tells him in the state of Texas there's another apostle. I was like, yo, they're
Shout
doing
out
it.
to Texas.
They're doing it. And Joshua still thinks that his big sister. What do you think that is? Like, what? How does he think that the person he's his keeper, the maid lady, I forgot her name, is his sister? Is this like a brainwash? Is this?
He's like a psychotic break from being separated from her for so long, and
But
he's
it's
like
been
depressed or something, and he's like just been hiding it. Something recently that Ion's done that's caused his power to like,
is it trauma?
yeah,
He's
trauma.
traumatized and then forgets her
His
faith.
he's, what's the word for it, regressing, like
Maybe.
in his brain to an earlier time, even though he still recognizes and acknowledges Ion. It's like, how could he acknowledge Ion, like, "Oh, hi Ion," but also be like, "Oh, this is my older sister right here." Like, I don't know how that makes sense to
No.
him. So it's to me, it's like, bro's just kind of going wacko. To
Bro's
put it
not
in
here
a,
right now.
bro is getting a little too silly and goofy.
Yeah, but I liked these two episodes together.
Mhm.
We get a continuation of the story a little bit and telling the entire of origin of where Chrono came from, how they got together, and then the origin of Joshua, where he's at, what's happening, while also at the very end showing where he's at now. So I did like these two. These
And
two
it does
episodes,
set up
right?
directly sets up two more questions potentially, which is why was Chrono in the tomb with Mary Magdalene? Because that just they just
He
kind of
was sealed
they
away.
don't respond to that at all. Which it after asking that question, it fades to him just staring at the timepiece. So he was just so maybe that's the show kind of softly hinting at the fact that that's involved as to why he was in the tomb. And then it also poses the question, did Rosette says, and it's crazy to think what would have happened if the minister didn't show up. Does she mean at all, like in general, that the minister was going to the orphanage, so it's good that she was able to connect with him to get into the order, or does she mean that he was there to defuse the situation that was happening with Josh? Because it kind of leaves off with the tornado raging, and then we just cut away from that, and it doesn't show them like go save him or like what, like
no,
they made the contract to go do something right now, I thought, and then they don't go do something right now.
Eventually,
and then the next episode we cut away from it.
Yeah, it's gone. It's gone.
We're just dropping it, and my whiplash ensues.
Yeah, I still do think Remington has some bigger part to play. I don't know what it is. I feel like he might have been the one that sealed Chrono, because I think what it is that Chrono got sealed away or something. They woke him up or awakened or whatever. But he was just sitting there, right? Wasn't he just sitting there?
Because he said my spiritual energy still hasn't recovered when he tries to get up, which is what prompts Rosette to offer him food, which is where he's like, oh, these humans are like treating me nicely. So was he supposed to be in there for a certain amount of time to regain enough spiritual energy?
Oh, maybe
to do something or like become some sort of event. And for some reason, because Joshua is an apostle and he has the power, he was just able to unlock the tomb, which had a huge seal of the Magdalene Order on it. So it's like, oh yeah, if he's an apostle, then it's reacting to him.
But, I do think that they seal away demons like that because they've done it already.
With Mary Magdalene?
Oh no, I don't know.
Like
that was her?
That's what
the one?
That's what he says.
Jesus' mom?
They're like, whose crypt is it? And he's like, it was Mary Magdalene.
I thought it was just her sister.
Maybe.
What? Why do they have that there?
I don't know. That's what I mean.
Okay.
That's like.
Did he find it?
It's a crazy question that as Maria asked. She's like, why? Why were you in that tomb with that person?
I don't think that would be in New York. Just saying.
I mean, they're in the countryside. They're in the countryside. They might be in New York State, but they directly say that, like, hey, we live out in the countryside.
That's a far way from Jerusalem or wherever. That's not happening. That's why I was like, it's not the Mary Magdalene. We're in New York.
I'm just going off what the show says. I don't know actual Mary Magdalene lore.
You got to read up. There's a big book about it. I don't know. You might have heard of it. It's called the Bible.
You think Barnes Noble has it?
Yeah, maybe. It's by the restrooms. I actually do know because I was there and I was like, these are also pretty. Like, I'm not gonna read it. I was like, wow, it's really pretty.
I put this on the table.
That's crazy. I guess it was Mary Magdalene's grave. Not grave. They probably could have moved it. They probably, to make it make sense, they probably moved the tomb under Magdalene Order because that's the safest place or whatever. That could be explained away, I guess. Whatever. And then episode 11, Beast. What happens in episode 11?
Oh, my neck.
Hold all that. Hold all the story.
Hold the phone.
We got
Rosette
something
and
else.
Chrono are sent to respond to a creature that's been wiping out mafiosos in the city, an entity known as a black dog. Satella appears to also be working to take out the black dog, and information is gained on the summoning of said dog and the person and motivations responsible. Also, seeing a mafia boss goes up to Satella for protection. Rosette refuses to follow orders, which is to let the dog do its thing until it turns substantial after getting so many kills. This is a super high speed bike. Rosette is challenged by Satella on her point of view that no one deserves to die, and she forces her to help in the final exorcism of the black dog. This is a super high speed bike.
I like the story. Like, this is cool. Like, them doing a thing. This dog is killing mafiosos. We find out why. That's cool. Like, a cool concept. And then we got to get Satella to come in and help the crew. And it's like, oh my God, previous character we met before. This is dope. We have more Satella. But the way they just don't even transition into it and then just give it to us right off the bat really hurts.
Jarring.
Really hurts.
Very jarring.
They could have been like, I would have liked it maybe if they were still there reminiscing at the orphanage, and then just get a call, just be like, blue, 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 whatever. We need you back here, whatever. That would have been, that's it. One scene to kind of get us into this other thing.
Yeah. Or yeah, like you said, like get a call while they're there. We know you're, off at this place, but we need you to respond to this thing, and then hang up the phone, cut to the sister talking to the police chief about the situation.
Yeah.
And saying that, they're already working on it, and then continue to hear him out as we get exposition as to what the situation is.
Yeah, it just jumped right into it. So we have a wolf chasing some dude, some mafia clan guys. We find out later that Bianca Winger used black magic to summon the dog. She did it for love against the mob. A very stripped down version here. The astral spirit of the dog was created by her negative energy, and consuming more victims makes it more corporeal. I like that part. Like, that's cool. There's some black magic going on. We've seen black magic before in the show, so it's not out of the realm of what's happening in the city. But they're there to take it down. That's a cool story. I like that little bit. And then having Don Quixote, I guess, is that who she said she met with? Satella? Unless it was
really the Godfather.
The Godfather was Don Quixote. Mm-hmm. It's like, yo, I know that guy. The Elder is still weird. We could not get away from it. Another Elder weird moment where he makes Rosetta motorcycle, looks pretty dope, but then he's like, let me feel your boobs. And I'm like, what are you doing, bro? Let's not do that anymore.
At least she literally knocked him out.
Yeah, and then took the bike.
Yeah, takes the bike anyways. Right,
see him.
And immediately crashes it, as is her nature.
Rosette chases the dog down. Rosette crashes the bike. And Rosette still wants to help the gangsters, even as Satella doesn't want to. What did you feel? How did you feel about that whole exchange between Satella kind of bringing Rosette's faith into it even? Mm-hmm. And I really like the sort of questions you're posing. Like, Satella was like, yo, these are bad guys, but you want to help them?
It's just the overwhelming optimism and kind of like protagonist nature that just drives Rosette to have that mannerism of, it doesn't matter whether or not they're good guys or bad guys, what they've done. Like, I don't think they just deserve to die because of a force beyond their control.
To die like that against this black dog.
Yeah. I think that's a very endearing point of view, even if it's very going past optimistic into like overly idealistic. Mm-hmm. But it's a trait that I want my protagonist to have. I want to see them want to save people. Mm-hmm. And as earlier in the episode, we have just, it's it might have been what people would classify as a criminal dying in her arms, but she just witnessed somebody die in her arms, and that should have an impact on her if they're going to be a protagonist that I want to root for.
Yeah.
Unless it's some sort of like anti-hero type deal.
No. Yeah, I like that Rosette has emotion and empathy. Like that's the simplest thing. I like that she has empathy for people that one don't share
And she's
her
willing to
faith
put
or
herself in through like an immediate peril at the opportunity to save others as well, which is just
yeah. And I'm
again,
reading
very likable.
I'm reading a lot of comic books and stuff, and they don't choose who they save. They save everyone. If the world's in danger, they're not going to choose the good people of it. So yeah, it definitely gives that heroicism to Rosette in this moment because she's directly facing Satella in this, who is on her side, but like not for this mission, kind of, and she kind of has to talk her into it. And Satella conjures this badass jet bike. It looked like a jet for a little bit. I was like, are they flying? I couldn't tell what it was.
Tell if it was a complete like because it was it had handlebars like a bike,
but it was
I couldn't
like
tell.
It's like
If
pointy.
it was like it was like it kind of looked like it had like a little like cockpit with glass almost.
Yeah, I
But
was
they're
like, is
riding
this a
on top
jet?
of it like a bike. And again, like we get the scene with what's his name, the elder, showing them the bike, and he's like, oh, it has nitrous and it has 2 shots of
Yeah.
nitrous, and then you're out. And then they're on Satella's thing and they use nitrous, and then they use it 2 times specifically, but we never used the nitrous on the bike unless this is the bike. And Satella just like took the bike and used it to like,
yeah,
I don't know.
It could be the bike with the astral projection around it.
Yeah,
maybe.
exactly.
Either way, they do a cool Akira slide.
That's right. I forgot to grab that. I was like,
yeah,
there it is.
Yes, hell yeah. Of course, they had to do it.
I think we had one in Nier Automata as well, or something. Like there's 2 shows back to back that we've had the Akira reference.
We should have compiled them. I think those are the only 2 though. I don't
There
remember.
might have been more. I don't know. I'm gonna have to check. We're gonna have to take it take it to the producer. Can we get a check on that in post?
Akira slide, please. Rosette ends up shooting the dog, and the day is saved, and the beast is down. The beast that we got at the beginning of the episode is done with. And are we gonna get more story in episode 12?
Probably not. Don't hold your breath.
Chrono Crusade, episode 12, Holy Night. What is the final episode we watched for this anime?
Our trio receives information that solidifies them leaving the East Coast in an attempt to rescue Joshua on the West Coast. The minister asks them to wait until after Christmas so they can spend the holiday at home before departure. We are treated to the equivalent of an anime beach episode, except it's a Christmas episode, and everybody's buying each other presents and being all merry. I almost said Molly. Asmaria reveals her unpleasant memories associated with the holiday, and the Order each do their part to secretly throw a party for her as she continues to showcase her sense of charity and kindness. Chrono and Rosette hope that next year they get to spend Christmas with Joshua as well. Episode 12.
I'm like super not the person this is for.
No.
Because like even when we watched Bungo Stray Dogs and we had a ton of people that were super into the characters come in and talking about their favorite character and their like favorite thing, and like even at cons you see people talking about their characters super in depth that they really like, and they're like, oh, here's this fan art, sharing it on social media, here's this one character that I really like from the show being silly or something, here's a part from the show where he's doing this thing and I really like that one thing where he's just being a little guy and he's whatever. I could take that to a point, but like I don't like any character enough to where I'm like, hell yeah, Christmas episode, you know. I don't think I've ever been that jazzed about characters
I don't know the
doing
last
this.
time I've seen a Christmas episode in an
That's true.
anime. There's probably, I mean, I think maybe Kaguya-sama had one, maybe. Um like, you know, the more slice of life animes, but like that's the course of action as we like kind of see the time pass in those shows. Like we go through seasons and we have, you know, holidays that are associated with seasons, so it's like an expectation in those types of shows.
I
But
guess
here
we
I just wasn't expecting it at all, even though like I as I'm going to the next episode and I see it's called like it was called Holy Night, I think, and I was like, is it really about to be a Christmas episode?
yeah. I think maybe we could have expected a little bit more because this is very much about not so much about this is probably the most Christianic anime that's out there because it is about angels versus demons. They mentioned God, Mary Magdalene, all that stuff. Christmas is a big part of Christianity, I think. We probably could have expected it more. I still didn't. So it is Christmas time. We're having rehearsal for the Christmas play. Um, they're buying presents, like you said.
I did think it was really funny as they were like having all the struggles of like trying to get the play together, get Asmaria to read her lines, get everybody to not complain about it, a break, and then it's like, all right, let's go. And then Rosette's like, I need to borrow Asmaria.
Mhm.
Like that was pretty funny.
It was
That made me
funny,
laugh.
yeah. What's not funny is they lost 3 agents in San Francisco that were tracking Ion. So we just have these militia agents
That's fine. It's just like
dying off screen.
getting like we just lost 3 of our best people, and they're the best people because they're the militia. That's why they're the best. The 3 of them just went missing.
Yep,
Rosette, you got the
you're
green
on it.
light.
You're on it.
On it. What?
I
Like,
mean,
what's the logic behind that?
I mean,
I'm
I
willing to accept them allowing her to do it because there are personal stakes involved. But why are we setting it being so dire? And then everybody's just like, haha, yeah, all right, we're gonna do it, you guys. Teamwork, everybody hands in. It's like, I feel like when the last time you saw him, he could have ripped your throats out and he just decided to toy with you instead.
yeah,
Why do we feel like all of a sudden we have the edge on him?
he had everybody on the ropes. Like literally just everybody got obliterated. And then now they're just
They
like,
got
let's
lucky
go
as
get him.
Maria had ults.
Yeah, Asmara had an ult ready, and now I mean I can kind of see one, like you're saying, it is personal for them. That's why they were kind of okay with them going because of Joshua being there, but also possibly Remington and the sister Kate could be like, well, they have Chrono there. That's their kind of get out of jail free card if anything happens, because he is the biggest demon they've ever faced or whatever, the most powerful demon they've ever faced before or whatever. So they may have that in mind.
I wonder if everybody else knows. The show may have alluded to it before, and I'm just forgetting. But if everybody else knows how the locket works, and that
I
she's
don't
like
think
she
so.
drains her life force in order for him to have
I
power
don't
when
think
he's
she's mentioned
full
that to
form.
anybody except for Asmaria. No, maybe they. Uh,
I can't remember for sure.
that's
But
why I
it's
think
just like,
yeah, I think they're just like, well, Chrono can go aggro, so we're good. He just doesn't want to right now. But they're all happy about it. They're all happy to get going, but all the girls from the Magdalene Order don't want Rosette to go, so she agrees to go after Christmas. We get Asmaria flashbacks to people not being so nice to her around Christmas time. So this is,
like
it's
not being
fine.
nice to her, but then being nice to her, but then it's like a somber, you know, or bittersweet type deal because it's like she only gets to spend so much time with them before she has to go on and live with the what's his name, Laraje and
Yeah,
the
Laraje.
Hendrik guy. So
Mhm.
it sucks, and it doubly like sucks that she kind of just is like, I just deserved it. Like she just shrugs her shoulders and it's just like it wouldn't have happened if like I wasn't a bad person. And it's like, whoa, what are you saying? Like even what's her name is there, and she's the
Satella.
Satella's there, and she's like, "Whoa, don't say that." She's
I
like,
mean, I think that could go towards her just being a kid, and that's kind of how
yeah,
they
no,
think.
yeah, definitely. But it's just
It's
sad.
weird.
It's just
It's very
sad.
sad. Yeah. She's like, well, I was a bad kid, probably. I don't know. I've never gotten a present on Christmas, so whatever. The gang at Satella find out as Maria didn't even get any presents, as Maria wants to give presents. The Christmas play happens. It goes off well. Everybody's happy for Asmaria. Asmaria gives away the snow globe she was going to give to Rosette to someone that really wanted it. She said, well, I just felt like he needed it more. And the shopkeep being a badass, bro, he's like, yo, I got
That
you.
was Santa Claus.
I got, oh,
The
I didn't even
shopkeeper
think
Santa
about
Claus.
it. It was probably Santa Claus. I
He
didn't
just wasn't
even.
wearing red.
Oh, it's him. It is him. Dang.
That had to be
That
intentional.
would have
Like
been.
the toy gift shop guy, all tall,
I
like old, white beard. Come on.
I would not have been mad if like she's holding the snow globe and then in the background you just see him flying away, like in his with all yeah, and I would have been like, yes. I love when movies or whatever that are set in real life
Secret
do
Santas.
do stuff like that.
IRL Secret Santas.
Yeah.
They're among us.
The gang gives out presents to kids. We get a new outfit for Rosette. See, like I feel like that was a big moment for somebody. Like somebody watching the show is like,
Yeah.
yes, Rosette is so cool. New outfit. And I was kind of like that because I was like, yo, cool.
Yeah.
That's a cool outfit. But somebody that was their whole life right there. It's not for me though. I am not down. I want
Like I
more
noticed
story.
and I appreciated the change, but yeah, I'm just like, I want to know what's going on with Joshua and what we're doing to save him is what I want.
How about you take that outfit to San Francisco? As Mario gives matching pins to Rosette and Chrono, they all give as Mario a celebration of Christmas, give her her own cross, and hopefully after this, we're on the way to San Francisco. So this was a big bowl of silliness, some fun, not a whole lot of main story, but it was about the as Marios we helped along the way. I don't know. It was kind of a weird way to end. We have 2 episodes back to back that after they gave us so much
Yeah, exactly.
story,
That's what I mean. Yeah, it's rough.
2 episodes of great story paired with these 2 episodes that give us a monster of the week and then some just character
And
development
it
of
was
them
very much
chilling, slice of life.
giving each episode, but our plot is about religion, so we're going to do a Christmas episode. Something that's light hearted and gives the characters a chance and the plot to have a chance to like have a breath while also providing, you could even say while also providing some sort of fan service, because I mean that Santa outfit that Rosette was wearing, some people could see that as fan service. I don't know.
Sure. So that's the end of our watch through of Chrono Crusade. We rank the animes that we watch on the show in 3 criteria: animation, storytelling, and vibes. And then we put it on the list of anime we watched this season, which is only one long. This is because we watched Nier Automata. So we started a brand new season recently. But for animation, what would you give Chrono Crusade?
I'm giving it a C. And for a lot of these, I'm kind of trying to lean into a for the time it came out mentality, but animation's definitely, in my opinion, the weakest aspect of the show. It's largely in part due to the time that it came out. But I mean, even as I think of some other shows that might have been coming out in the late 90s, early 2000s, there's just some parts of the show that just felt very muddy and very like they were kind of trying to take the easy way out. Again, it's a lot of like headshots and reactions type deal. So when the actions being actiony, I would have liked to see a lot more just but feeling like a budget moment, like at least up to the episode that we watched, I don't really feel like I had like this feels like this is where the budget went. Didn't really get any of those. They might be there in the later episodes, but at least up to this point, didn't
Halfway
really get a lot of that.
through,
Yeah, but I do really like the art style and the character designs, and it's not it isn't necessarily bad, but it does leave a lot to be desired, at least for the time that it came out. We're talking comparing it to it'd be unfair to compare the animation to contemporaries, in my opinion.
Yeah, especially when we just watched a contemporary show last week or last shows. Man, big difference there.
Yes. Jules, where are you going to be rating animation?
Hello, Amanda. Chrono Crusade mentioned. Yes, hello. We have watched up to episode 12 of Chrono Crusade, and now we are ranking it. Probably a bad time if you like Chrono Crusade, but in the big 2025, I can't give it a good one for animation, man. And I don't know if that's Crunchyroll's problem, or it could be that they acquired it from Funimation and they don't have the ability to upscale it or something. But is this a good I judge like you judged it to the time that it came out of?
I'm
Appreciate that.
trying.
Trying.
Yeah.
I cannot as big 2025 here, and I definitely with my thing I wanted to say if you should pick it up tomorrow or watch it tomorrow. The
That's
animation
fair.
is a D for me. Um, just a lot of muddiness, like you said. I really do like the style. I like this old style. It looked cool. But there's so much more good stuff out there, and I can't in good conscience rate it higher as far as like all the other anime that we've seen. Like this has to be a lower animation rating for me because it would be a disservice to all the other anime we watched. I really
That's
do
very fair.
like the characters. I like what they sort of set up, but it was the worst part of the show in a rather show that I kind of liked. Um every time I don't know why it looked good on the TV for me. It was fine, but when I put it on my computer screen that's 4K, it was just no, it was not having it. But animation for Chrono Crusade for me would be a D. Storytelling, where would you put Chrono Crusade for storytelling?
Storytelling, I'm gonna give it a C. Just because again, like, we got really good bits of story. I had a lot of intrigue, and I felt like some of my questions were getting answered, and then new questions were getting posed. But it felt like as you get further into it, you should be honing in and kind of drawing focus into the greater plot at hand. And I felt like the show didn't want to do that. It didn't want to really hone in and focus. It kind of wanted to just like, well, do things at our own pace and blah blah blah. And that, like, again, at that time, like, maybe that worked when things were kind of like week to week. You never know what you're really going to get because you're just watching on cable and stuff. Streaming services weren't really a thing. So it's good to make those consumable episodes that are in a vacuum for a lineup like that. But again, nowadays, when we have access to all episodes through things like streaming services, watching these episodes back to back, it feels very jarring. It's there's a lot of whiplash with how the show decides to deliver the plot. And I do enjoy the plot that it does deliver when it's delivering, and that's what's keeping it in a C rating instead of dropping down into a D or F tier for me. Because if it was unfocused and I also didn't really enjoy the plot, we'd be in a really bad spot.
Yeah,
But we're still writing middle of the road for me, mid with the plot because it just didn't want to hone in.
and hey, maybe it could get amazing at
Maybe
the
the
end.
very next episode 13 to there's 24 or something,
20,
to
22,
13 to
24.
20, whatever. It just, you're there on the Iron Cabaneri train, and it's knows what it's trying to do, but we won't know, at least here. Jules, what are you gonna rate Chrono Cross? I almost said Chrono what? Chrono Crusade for storytelling. I
Storytelling,
can't
I
remember
would
any words right now. I'm so upset.
storytelling, I was kind of with you there. I gave storytelling a B. Um Mainly because the stuff that they gave us with the main story, I really enjoyed it. And maybe I do have like an affinity for the greatest sort of tale that you could tell, or one of the greatest storytelling devices is just the ultimate evil versus the ultimate good, good versus evil, demons versus angels, and uh throw some Christianity into there. I like that whole sort of vibe. So they really laid into like things that I like. And like I said, nuns with guns, I'm down for it. Like give me that like crazy image of a nun with a gun, like I'm super down. But the storytelling, the story about Rosette going through it, picking up Chrono, and then now as Maria, and the idea of all these apostles, I like that where we have a clear goal, a clear this is what this person wants to do. The bad guy wants to do this, get the apostles to bring his power, and it was all clearly laid out for me, and I really appreciate that. In some stuff, it is too subtle, and I'm like, well, what do we? What's or they don't tell you all the information, and it's like you're gonna find out next episode, and then next step. It's like no, this guy he was like, I'm gonna create a new apocalypse. I need the apostles. These people can do this thing to thwart that. And I have Rosette's brother. Dope. Let's do it. So I do appreciate them laying it out
The
and
episodes
allowing me to
that
go
do
through.
deliver plot, I feel like just gave us so much in a concentrated amount of time where
Yeah.
it could have been like, a lot
Drip
more
fed.
evenly spread out.
Yeah. Maybe they should have done that instead of giving us a Christmas episode. Um, I would have been down for that. But storytelling, B for Chrono Crusade. Now, vibes. What would you give Chrono Crusade for vibes?
I'm giving it an A because I
Ooh.
really like Rosette and Chrono and Asmaria, and I really like the way that they are able to bounce off each other as a trio. I really enjoyed the flashback, the extended flashback with Joshua, Rosette, and Chrono. Like anybody that's on screen is just giving a is just it's always like something funny happening or something like morbid happening.
Mhm.
It's a very tonally kind of like all over the place show, but like I enjoy that. I enjoy that it doesn't really
Yeah.
like stick to one thing because again, it keeps me on my feet for how it's going to handle delivering anything that it has ready. Because again, I enjoy a lot of the show. I enjoy the characters. I enjoy the setting and the whole like late 1920s New York scene, like everything about
Not a
the
whole lot
shows.
of accents. New
Not a
York
whole lot of
accents.
accents for New York, but also I wasn't watching it in English.
Oh, yeah,
It's
I'm telling you.
but yeah, I did like just really want more out of the show. The vibes were on point though, even if I found a lot of other things about the show troublesome and underdeveloped or mid, for lack of a better term. Jules, where are you gonna rate Chrono Crusade for vibes?
Vibes were an A for me. I liked these characters probably more than a lot of other shows that gave higher on vibes. Like I liked these characters. I'm down for these guys to just do stuff. Not so much that 2 whole episodes are given to that to just do stuff, but like I'm down for them to just do stuff. And I really like these characters where they're going, some development with them, getting to know their backstory, how they got together. I loved the vibes. Silly, fun. It was a little grotesque at times too, something that you mentioned where it was all over the place. At times I was like grossed out a little bit by the what they're showing or the blood or like creepy faces. I'm like, "Oh, that's out of
Josh's
nowhere."
horns busting out of his head.
Yeah,
It's like,
what's going on?
what?
What's happening
Showed
there?
one, then it showed the other, and I'm like, I get it.
Yeah, it was
I
a
get
little
it.
grotesque. So I like that. I do agree with you. I like that as well, where it's just, and then we get like Rosette Big Head screaming at somebody one in a scene in a couple scenes. I'm like, yes, this is cool. I get her character. I get her. I get all the character and their motivations. Vibes are cool. Vibes were an A for Chrono Crusade. So with all of those contabulated together, the A's really pushed it a little bit on my calculations. So Chrono Crusade is a B rank anime. anime going up on the list as a B ranked anime. We have we had low scores for animation, but then Vibes really brought it up to give us a well-rounded B, really close to a C though, probably the closest we've gotten because I add numbers and all this stuff to get those
The math was math, and
maths was math. And for a B, there is Rosette on the B board here. We have Near Automata as our first anime for season 3, and now we have Chrono Crusade as B. So we're starting to fill this one out. If you haven't seen this before, we have 2 whole other seasons full of a bunch of anime that we ranked. So we're just starting out on season 3. But after this, right now, we have to pick a brand new anime to watch. So we're done with Chrono Crusade. We watched 12 episodes of it, gave a ranking, got a taste of it, and now we're on to the next one. And it could be any one of these anime here. These are suggested by you, the audience, or me and Matt to get an anime suggested to put into the random box. $5 super chat on YouTube or 500 bits on Twitch. And that goes both to me and Matt. There's the chest there. Next anime we're watching next week.
Delicious in Dungeon.
Delicious in Dungeon. Who is that from?
That's from Yo Bubsy.
Bubsy, Delicious in Dungeon. I know nothing about this anime.
I haven't finished the first season, but I have watched most of it. I'll save my
more
thought.
than 12.
More than 12, I think. Actually, yeah. But I will save my thoughts because oh boy, I got a whole lot to say about that show.
Whoa, I'm ready. Delicious in Dungeon. Watch episode 1 through 4.
My little D&D anime.
It's Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, let's watch it. Episode 1 through 4 of Delicious in Dungeon by next week. Is it on Netflix?
I think it's actually it's on Netflix.
Okay, it's on Netflix.
Netflix one.
So hopefully you have Netflix. But watch Delicious Dungeon 1 through 4 before next week. We'll be live again next Thursday. Matt, when we are not crusading those chronos, where can they find you on the internet?
You can follow me on my socials at it's Matt_Galley on Threads, on Instagram, where I just be shitposting all the time. You can also follow me on my YouTube at Matt_Galley, where we also host this podcast, and I might post to someday. You know, the planets all align and those things happen. Jules, when we're not here Chrono Crusading, where can the people find you?
At JulesTheHuman, at JulesTheHuman on all social media, on Threads, on Instagram, and my YouTube channel is where you can send the $5 super chats to get your suggestions put in the box. We also post on any podcasting places, on Spotify, on YouTube, anywhere you get podcasts. You can check us out. Check out all of the all of the podcasts that we've done. We've done going on 3 seasons now. If you're like, man, I really want to hear their opinion on this anime, we probably did it. Go check it out. Go check out our catalog and see all the streams. On at Anime Hour Pod, it's a link in the description down there. You just click the little thing. Should have like a playlist, all the stuff. You can check my channel for a playlist of all the previous podcasts that we've done of all the other anime. But next week, Delicious in Dungeon, episode 1 through 4. Watch that, come back, and give us your thoughts about the anime. All right, Chrono Crusade is done, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.